Next up, as we develop our Schoology courses, we want to focus on setting up our grading and our categories that we can use when we create assignments, tests and quizzes, or discussions. So on the left-hand side, you'll see two options. We have the gradebook and gradebook setup. So if we dive to grade setup, we see categories. Now here we have already established that we have a homework category, a quiz category, and a test category. But if you don't have any categories yet, you can simply add, and we can say, let's say projects. This also gives you the option to say, is this calculated by a percent or by total points? And if you want to drop the lowest, however many assignments in that total. Once you're done, we hit create. A couple other features that we want to highlight here is if we want our Schoology gradebooks to match our PowerSchool gradebooks, we want to toggle on weight categories. And here, if you have categories that have 10% homework, you can see that it will start changing the percentage. Our projects are going to be also, let's say, 20%. Our quizzes are going to be 30%. So that makes 60, and our tests will be 40%. And it will do the live calculations. We want to make sure that these weights add up to 100 so that they match. This is especially important when we're syncing grades to PowerSchool. Other options that we see when we are on this page is in this upper right-hand corner. There are a couple things that I want to bring to your attention. Once you have your categories set up and all of your grades and weights, and you want to bring them to other courses, you can simply hit copy settings. It will open up this dialog box and it's going to ask you, what do you want to copy? So do we want to just categories, grade scale, rubrics, and then to what courses? Simply toggle that on and then hit copy and it will copy to your group. Next up, you'll see that we have either a numeric scale or a letter grade scale, which you can customize. And then to the right of that is where you can create rubrics. So for anyone that's involved in creating rubrics for grading assignments or papers or tests or quiz, this is an ideal place to put your rubrics in. Simply click add. You can go to rubric, you can give it a title, and then add categories. We'll go into more detail in that when we are grading by rubric in an assignment. Lastly, we have a handful of categories which most of us will not need to touch. So we have our grading period. So this will be semester 1 or semester 2. Our gradebook scale, calculated grades, and then we can see it, do we want a course override, high grade category, graded period, total points column. Usually I keep all of these untoggled, but the key point is that we're going to hit save changes when we are done to preserve these settings. Next, if we click on the gradebook, we can see all of the materials that we've created for this grading period. So this semester is summer 2020. I have my 2 students and I have all of the assignments. If I want to filter my gradebook, I can go from all materials, or I can just look at my homework assignments, my projects, quizzes or tests, and tests. Let's go back to all materials and we can see a couple of quick shorthands. If I want to type in grades for these, I can simply click on the student's name and give them a grade. If I want to add a comment, I can click this comment box. If I want the student to see it, which will also display on PowerSchool, I click the display to student button and just hit enter, and now it will save. You can see that it has a comment in there. If for some reason a student was unable to do this assignment and I wanted to give it an excused or mark it as missing, simply give it there, and the default range is to have a missing score be a 0. Likewise, if you want to edit any one of these assignments individually, we can click edit, track revisions, mark all cells as one of these categories, or set all grades to be a specific score. Likewise, individual assignments or quizzes have these 3 dots, but so does a gradebook. If you click that 3-dot button up here, we see bulk edit. What this allows us to do is get a summary of all of our assignments that are published, what category that they fit into, which we can change any one of these if it's mismarked, how many points it's worth, what is the grading scale, when is it due, and what grading period that it shows on. Lastly, and this is the key thing, if you would like to sync your grades to PowerSchool, once you have PowerSchool linked, which we'll show in the next video, you will use your gradebook and simply click the Sync Changes to PowerSchool button. Once you do this, you can see the sync log. Now, of course, there's no gradebook tied to this sample account, so we can't see that. And then the last option on the gradebook is this plus button. So from the gradebook, you can add an assignment or a test or a quiz or a discussion right from here.